least a very similar build, but graphically they look so different, you know. So
yeah, Junho's got dark mode going, which pro tip if you ask me, it's easier on your eyes.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
I like that. All right, guys. Well, listen, we're back again to the Wheel of Fate. We can't decide. I can't decide. Jonathan can't decide. It's not up to us to decide. You know, the only real question here is, are these guys going to get a sheet metal part? It's the only thing that we're really all interested in. So let's find out from the Wheel of Fate. FPV Kev says 7, please. Okay, Mr. CAD says 01, and Matt says 06. Let's give this thing a spin and see what we end up with here. There you go, Matt. Ask and you shall receive. Wow. How did you do that? Okay, so it looks like we're going to be taking a look at our next drawing here. Drawing number 6. Here we go. This next CAD versus CAD battle between Junho and Jon Moriarty. If Jon wins, he moves on to the semifinals. If Junho wins, we all win because we get to see another match between these guys. Here we go in 3, 2, 1. Go. And so we see here, this one is a wooden part. It's called Wooden Jig. And this part is made from American cherry, 570 kilograms per cubic meter. And the question is, what is the mass of this part in XX.X grams? Tolerance is plus or minus 0.1 grams. And this is probably something that looks familiar to you, Jonathan, as a woodworker. Maybe setting yourself up with a jig here to line up some holes. Looks like both of our runners are getting into the model here. So let's flip over to this CAD versus CAD window and see how they do. It looks like both of our runners decided to start with a sketch, looking down from the top at this thing.
That's what I would have done.
Yep, I like it.
Start with the perimeter and then start hacking back from there.
Yeah. A part that's not symmetric. You know, a lot of the parts that we see here in mechanical engineering are symmetric, but we also need to understand, you know, strategies when a part is not symmetric. Where should the origin be? Interesting that they put it in similar locations, but not exactly the same location.
Yeah, Junho's got top left for the origin, and then Jon's got bottom left. I would have done bottom left, I think. I tend to think of that as sort of the starting point if I'm going to draw something this way. Interesting choice there by Junho to do a. Basically, he's got perpendicular lines for the cutout for this thing, and he's going to use that. It looks like he's using the chamfer tool in the sketch to get his angle there. Yeah, which is definitely a way to do it. Okay, and Jon he's kind of getting the full volume of the thing first, and then it looks like he's going to go from there to sort of carve out the rest of it.
Almost like a subtractive manufacturing.
Yeah, I think I would have done it the way Junho is, as far as like drawing out that the sort of the think of it as the plan view. I think that's how I would have approached it, but I think Jon's doing it a little bit more the way we recommend, where you sort of you keep your sketches simple, you have more sketches, and then you kind of, go from there. It does make it easier to control things, to not have too much information in one sketch that can kind of obfuscate things, can make it a little bit harder to, to find issues and fix things down the road.
Yeah, I'm definitely more in that school of the not having the sketches too complicated. I like to keep my sketches simple, but I also like the way Junho is doing this too. So there's I think that both techniques are working here. It was interesting to see. Wow, look at how fast Junho's getting in there. What's he doing there? Chamfering off that front edge.
Yeah, he likes to do things with chamfers, I guess. It's I think for a part like this, I would have done what he's doing now, which is make a sketch profile there, just because it's such a shallow angle. It might be a little bit more difficult to control it.
Yeah, and sometimes depending on where the dimensions are coming from, chamfer might not be the best tool as well. Like if it's not coming from the original corner, but coming from the other corner, like what we're seeing here. So
yep. And now we got looks like Jon's going to do a mirror operation here. He's just working on one side, and he's got a center line there, and that's going to make it easy for him to either mirror the sketch or the 3D feature.
Got it.
Whereas Junho just built the whole thing as a 3D feature there.
Yeah. Junho kind of, it seems like he kind of goes in like bursts, like he kind of, he gets going a little bit and then like it's kind of hung up a little bit and then comes back with another burst of speed. So very interesting to see the two different approaches. Now we're in a spot where we've got the counter, we got this counter bore scenario, but these I think are always interesting because the counter bore is defined not from the top surface with like a depth call out, but instead defined more like from the bottom surface where it's on an angled face, but you want that bottom surface to have a consistent wall thickness. And so I think these are always interesting challenges to try to solve.
Yeah, I think I probably would have used the hole tool for these. Just because there's I don't know, if you don't use it a lot, sketches are probably, they're a little bit more, intuitive, I guess. People tend to think like that more so than like this tool that adds a hole. But with the hole tool, you can do the full dimensions of everything. The counter bore is the type of hole, like is it countersunk or is it, is it a flat profile like the way this is drawn? You can just draw your points in a sketch, dimension those the way they need to be, and then you just do that tool and you're done. But
yeah, I think that the challenge with the counter bore in this spot is that maybe Fusion can do this. I know that in SolidWorks, I would always run into problems because like the face where the counter bore depth will be defined is that angled face. So it's a little bit harder for me in SolidWorks anyway, it's harder for me to get that face. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, in Fusion you can do, so what you would do is a sketch either on the bottom or parallel to it, like where that edge is, where it meets the kind of that wall, the vertical wall, and you can go from there and it'll just bore through whatever 3D is in the way.
That's cool.
Yeah,
that's very cool. Yeah. I gotta check.
Now it's tricky from this point of view though, because you'd need to do but you would need to do the math, right? You'd have to be like
Boundless by Design. Sorry for cutting you off. Boundless by Design comes in with an answer. That's the only time I'll ever cut you off, Jonathan, is if someone
it's fine.
comes in with an answer. Boundless by Design comes with an answer, 85.4 grams, and that is correct.
Oh,
congratulations to Jon Moriarty. Boundless by Design comes in with the correct answer. Guys, put a GG in the chat. We've got our very first semifinalist. Well done, my friend. Well done. Man. Yeah, a hard-fought battle. Really, really fast there, yeah.
Toby, I'm sorry, man. I've got a meeting right now I can't miss. Right. Is this going to keep going from here, or are we about wrapped up?
My friend.
Okay. Well, I'm going to jump back on if this meeting is done in a timely manner. Okay.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for the awesome commentary. Guys, give a GG in the chat for Jon Moriarty. Give a GG in the chat for Jonathan from Fusion. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for helping set this all up. And we're still going to be here. We're going to keep on rolling through. We got another entire match to go here in the live stream as well.